I'm here with Peyton Selts from Eagle Aquatics down in Miami. We got some pretty awesome stories and background with the two of us and getting to work together in person for a good amount of time. This guy's inspired me in a lot of ways over the course of the time that I've had the privilege of working with him. Some really, really fun things that we'll jump into. Welcome to the Swim Strong Dryland Podcast, where we aim to highlight inspiring people doing amazing things in the Swim Strong family and in the greater swim community. But before we get into that, we got to get into the most important thing, or rapid fire questions. Peyton, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thanks for being on the podcast, Coach. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. All right, here we go. First question. If you are stuck on a deserted island and you have two people you can pick, anybody in the world that could give you the best chance of survival, who you picking?
Joe Rogan, and then I'm gonna have to say, I don't know his name, but there's this YouTuber that goes out in the wilderness. I forget his name, but he goes out in the wilderness and just he knows how to survive good. So
all right,
I think some people that watch this don't know him.
Somebody will shout it out when they hear this. Oh, that's what you're talking about. All right, favorite candy bar?
Toblerone.
Oh, wow. That's it. That's a unique one. Good stuff. Yeah. Favorite cartoon character?
Beavis.
Wow. Okay. How about favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
All time.
I don't really watch movies like that.
Gotta pick one.
Gotta pick one. All right. I'm gonna go Cars. I'm gonna just go generic here.
Let's go. Lightning McQueen, baby. All right. So, all right, next question. What is your favorite swim venue to race at? Favorite pool you've ever raced at?
Right now, Austin for sure. It's a fast pool, and it was great to swim there. So definitely Austin.
It's a great spot. Last question. What's your favorite thing about Swim Strong Dryland?
The coaches for sure. Just being able to build the bonds and, kind of have like family members as your coaches is definitely one of my favorite things. I've never had stronger bonds with coaches before, so 100% cool. Coaches.
Awesome, man. Well, we love it too, and we're thankful to have you as a part of the Swim Strong family, and there's no doubt that's our favorite part is the people, and you guys make it a privilege to get to serve you and do all the things that we do behind the scenes, and you've done some pretty incredible work yourself over the last few years, and I'm excited for people to get to hear kind of what that journey looks like. A lot of people see end results or where you are and what you're doing now. But everybody has a different journey of getting to where you've got to. And anyway, could you just share briefly before we jump into some of the specifics, just a little bit about your background, how you got into swimming, why you started swimming in the first place, and kind of just take us up to where you are now in a quick little snapshot.
Yeah, for sure. So it all started off, I was 6 years old. It was a summer. My mom came up to me. She was like, "Hey, you want to join a swim camp? They'll teach you how to swim a little bit better and you'll have a lot of fun." I'm listening to my mom. Yeah, sure, Mom, let's do it. So went to the swim camp, loved it. It was like the coaches made it super fun. And then about 2 years later, my mom came back to me. She said, "Hey, all your brothers and sisters, your dad swam. Do you want to try out for the swim team?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah, I'll try out for it." And I remember the first day of practice still, we were doing relays. And we didn't have enough people in our relay. So I did the first and fourth leg. But, just like that feeling of like racing and like our relay won, but just that feeling of winning, instantly I was addicted. And then after that, I swam at Gulliver for about 7 years, around there. And then I moved to Eagle Aquatics, fell in love with the sport again, and then here where I'm at now.
That's awesome. So I do want to touch on something that you said, and this is where, for sure, our paths collided too when you came over to Eagle Aquatics. You said you fell in love with the sport again, and you also talked about when you were, I think it was 8, when you were on those relays and just like really started to get addicted to the sport, so to speak, and had a lot of fun with it. What do you feel like? And you can share whatever, obviously, whatever details you feel comfortable with, but like, what do you feel like from when you were 8 to when you were, 15 when you were with Eagle? Is that right? When you joined 16? Wow. That's crazy. 15? Yeah. So where do you feel? Because I hear this a lot. Like people, I fell in love with it, I enjoyed it. And then And then I got to a point where I really wasn't enjoying it anymore. Some people get to the point where they're almost ready to quit. And then it's amazing when someone finds their love for the sport again. And we'll talk about that. But what do you feel like was in the middle, like that caused you to stop loving it as much as you did from the beginning and then now? Like what happened in the middle?
Definitely, and it could have been that I was more unmature back then, but just because I wasn't dropping, I felt like I was kind of wasting my time in my training, and that led to me being like kind of unhappy with the sport. Like, oh, I gotta go to practice. I'm doing this for what? Just to add at a meet. Like, that's kind of why I fell out of love with it. So
Hmm.
when I was able to start dropping again, that definitely brought my love back. And having coaches and teammates there, that definitely helped me out for sure.
So being able to see results is obviously always really helpful for people and encouraging because you feel like the work you're doing is worth something. But it is more than that, obviously. So talk like even finding your love again, and I know something we talked about a lot on deck, even and when I was in Miami, is just like letting it be more than the results. Can you talk about how you've fought that? Because obviously, like the results are going to come and go, right? It's going to be up and down. There's going to be more times where you hit a plateau for a bit and it feels like what's this for. What do you feel like are some of the things you've learned now from like, okay, that was my mind when I was younger, but now okay, I've started dropping again, but what happens when I hit another period like that? Like what do you feel like you've started to enjoy on a deeper level of the sport?
So I feel like when I started, it definitely was like just like winning. Like it was like just get your hand on the wall first. And obviously that's still like definitely high up on my list. I want to be winning. I have some
Sure.
big goals. But I think the part that's changed now is not that I'm taking swimming less seriously. It's just that if I had a bad race, I know what caused it. And my goal now at meets is just to have as much fun as possible.
Mm.
I remember the first championship meet when I was with you guys. You came up to us and give us a little prep talk, and you said, "Guys, I want this to be the most fun meet you've ever had, and I want you to try as hard as you can. That's the only two rules you had for championship swimming."
Sir.
And that made me think a lot too. Like, wow, maybe winning isn't everything. I mean, we're definitely a competitive group at Swim Song Dryland, so winning is a lot, but it's not everything. So you
No
get that
doubt.
competitive basis, but
Yeah, man.
just having fun. That's definitely where my mindset has changed a lot too. Is that's so important, especially if you want to see success, I think.
Yeah, I do think fun and success are pretty strongly linked too. Because when you're just enjoying it, you tend to work harder, you tend to be more loose, you tend to let your body do the things that it already knows how to do and that you've trained for. And when you have failures, instead of paralyzing you, they are just like hey, it's just a part of the process. Like you just view things differently because it's just much more than about the result. And so obviously it's a continuous journey, right? It's not obviously you're not at a spot where you're like, okay, if I don't win or if I don't get a goal, like I'm not going to be upset. I'm not going to show emotion. Like that's obviously like still a work in progress, right? And it will be for everybody, and it'll look different at different stages of your career. But that's something I've been super proud of is like you fighting for that over time. Because I remember like first meet we went to and just how hard you were on yourself, and then just seeing that change, and then finally you got one of your goals that you had for a long time of making junior nationals, and it was just super emotional because you you getting the goal was really cool. But what made me teary eyed was knowing how much you fought through mentally, physically, and with everything you did to get there with your team. Can you describe that moment? Going through some of the things that you went through and fighting for that dream for a long time.
It was kind of like euphoria. Like I touched the wall, but like I don't want to sound cocky, but like I knew I went to time before I looked up at the
Felt
scoreboard.
it.
I was like, "There's no way that I didn't get that juniors cut." So I was like, I looked up just to confirm it though. I was like, "Okay, did I really get it?" Yeah, I did. And then just like just happiness and like you know knowing that all that work it went to something bigger than just training. Like it was just such a good feeling, and then being able to look up, see you screaming your head off at me, and then looking at my parents, just that definitely made me happy too, just to see them all super stoked for me.
For sure. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Never forget that. So thanks for sharing that memory. And yeah, that meet in Texas where you got that cut was absolutely amazing. And that makes sense why you love that pool more than any, because you got your first juniors cut there, and it is pretty amazing. But I think what was funny was I remember right after, maybe like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes after it had set in that you did it, I remember talking to you, and I don't know if you remember this or not. You're like, Coach, like summer juniors is only like 0.18 away. Like I was like, hey, that's awesome, but let's enjoy this right now. It's just the way that the human brain works, right? It's like we get that thing that we've been working for so long, and then once we've got it, it's like we're just never satisfied. What's the next thing? And it's just so important to stop and enjoy the moments. But at the same time, always wanting more is a great thing. So having that balance, how do you balance those two? Kind of where you're at right now, like how do you balance the like enjoy the moments, don't get too high, don't get too low, don't live in the future, but also set goals? Like what are some things that you have done or grown in that area?
So definitely grown there. I had a huge high before when I got my first futures cuts, and I stayed on that high and I never came back down. And then my training went straight down with it. So definitely being able to enjoy what I did, I think, is over the summer, I took a 2-week break. While I was on break, enjoying it as much as I could. But then the day I came back, it's okay, we're back to square one. Where can we improve now? So just already, I've talked to Adam, and then I've talked to Sean a little bit too. We already got a plan for a short course season, and we're brewing it up now. So we'll see if this
Love
momentum
it.
will lead into short course.
Yeah, man. I love it. We hope you're enjoying this week's podcast. We want to take a quick break to shout out our sponsors. Attention, all high school and club swimmers and divers. Are you ready to take your talents to the next level and dive into the collegiate scene? Look no further than ACC Recruiting, your premier destination for college swimming and diving recruitment education. At ACC Recruiting, we specialize in connecting student athletes with the perfect collegiate programs that match their skills and academic aspirations. Our experienced team will guide you through the recruitment process, providing personalized support every stroke of the way. Don't let your dreams sink. Visit ACC Recruiting today and make a splash in your future. Dive into success with ACC Recruiting, where champions are born. Visit our website now or call us at 314-518-8844. That's 314-518-8844. ACC Recruiting, your gateway to collegiate swimming and diving excellence. Resistance bands are a must-have for dryland. Elite Athlete Power Band kits are designed to give you a cost-effective way to improve performance and reduce the risk of injury. These high-quality kits last longer and are versatile enough to provide total body workouts anywhere, anytime. The levels of resistance are ideal for progressing youth athletes without weight increases that are too large. Go to the link provided on the SwimStrong Dryland website, click on the Training tab, and search Equipment Suggestion Lists, and get your Elite Athlete resistance bands today. Something, too, that is a huge highlight for me of your journey was when we were at the Elite Camp together in Charlotte, North Carolina, which shout out everyone who was there. That's like something I'll never forget my entire life. These are the things about swimming. Like you have these moments like that. It doesn't matter like the meet, the times, like just the people and the experiences. You'll remember like the emotions and those connections forever. But anyway, at the Elite Camp, I remember you came to the Elite Camp, and in all fairness, I think you might have been the slowest one at the meet amongst the guys.
No, for sure, 100%.
But you're still quick. But just like that camp is very, very fast. And so you came in, like, I just remember you were nervous and not sure, like, am I going to be cut out for this, and how am I going to stack up? And well, before I give this away, tell everyone just a little about your mindset going in, your experience at the camp, and then I'll share what I think I'm going to share.
So yeah, going into the camp, I knew it was going to be fast. My dad has always been real with me, and before we went, he's like, "Have you seen how fast everyone is there?" And I was like, "Yeah, Dad, I have." He goes, you better turn up then. So I was like, okay, yeah, I got you. But, one of my main goals was to like not be so far left behind with the guys. So definitely going in, I wanted to be, like, how do I say this? Like proving myself that like I could be there and like I was meant to be there. So that was definitely one of my goals. And I think I got that job done.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's something I feel like a lot of people feel that way though, going into stuff like that. It's like, oh my gosh, look at everyone else. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You're here too. Like you belong here. And so regardless of whether you're at the top or the bottom of the spectrum, take that too for anybody who's listening going into like a junior national meet. The first time you go there, you're probably going to be one of the slowest people there, more than likely. And like, that's how it works. But like you belong there just as much as the person who wins. And
yeah, I was gonna say it kind of feels like that first big championship meet. Like I remember my first JOs, I thought I was gonna go in and win it. And then I was like, oh, well, everyone's fast here. So, looking at that heat sheet and seeing everyone's faster than you, some people kind of like stop and are like, oh, maybe I don't belong here. But if I could tell anyone out there that's nervous about it or it's in that same situation, you're definitely meant to be there. And if you got a lane, you can go for it. So,
and to that point, you ended up winning the High Point Award at the Elite Camp. So for those who don't know, it goes based off of your races at the meet that we host on the last night, as well as different competitions, dryland competitions we host throughout the week. And you ended up as the High Point winner. So going in from being like, am I good enough to be here, to taking home the High Point because you crushed everything that you were a part of there. It was pretty awesome. And you didn't even expect that. I feel like you were the most surprised person in the room when you heard that. And it was just so cool because it was just evident that you were just totally just enjoying the moment, enjoying the people, enjoying the relationships. But yeah, can you describe that? Were you completely shocked?
Yeah, for sure. And before I go on, first of all, you guys completely underrated how hyped that last meet was going to be. I mean, like, you guys were like, it's going to be the most hype meet ever. Like, get ready. Like, and I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm sure it's going to be hype, but it can't be that hype. It was more than that hype. I remember I had a throbbing headache for like 2 hours after from screaming so much. And everyone, just cheering and stuff. It was the most hype meet I've been to. I remember too, because who was that? I was talking to somebody about the Swim Strong Dryland meet coming up next year.
Oh yes, I cannot
like,
wait, bro.
He was like,
go ahead. Sorry.
Go. I don't know if I want to go. I'm like, bro, you have to go. Like, it's the coolest meet ever. Like, just please go. Please promise me you're gonna go.
Man, I think about that all the time because the Elite Camp meet is so hype. We only have 64 people there because it's specific invites, 32 boys, 32 girls.
Yeah, it feels like.
And for me, it's still the most insane meet that I've ever been to in my life. And now we're doing this Swim Strong Championship meet where we'll have hundreds and hundreds of athletes that are able to come. And I'm like, whoa, what type of energy is this going to be? Like, I don't even know, man. Like, you saying that has me like, but yeah.
To get back to your point, I haven't told anyone this. This is actually the first time I've told anyone this, but my goal is to get the Monkey Bucket Award and just try and be the most hyped guy there.
Oh, let's go.
So then when they when they gave out those awards, I was like, oh, well, I guess I didn't get anything, but that's all right. It's such a great like experience. And then, who won the High Point for the girls?
It was High Point for the girls I believe it was Lily Christensen.
Yeah. I think it was her. They called her name up, and then when they're announcing the boys, right before they announced me, I remember thinking like, yeah, there's no way they choose me. Like, I'm one of the slowest people here, and sure enough, oh, Peyton Selts, come up. I remember there's a video of me too. Like, I'm like just so in shock. I'm like, what do you mean I won? I was so excited and just so hyped.
It was awesome, man.
It's just an awesome feeling. Being able to see Sean there too, the biggest smile on his face. Man, I was asking you, I was like, are you sure this is right? Like, are you sure? He's like, dude, we checked it 4 times.
We were over the math over and over and over again, man. All week. That's what makes it so fun. Like the Elite Camp, there's just so many aspects to it, dryland and swim, where you can get points as a team and as an individual, and there's just nothing like it. And yeah, it was just so fun to see that. And yeah, you and I believe Lily were the boy and girl High Point winners there. And then the Monkey Bucket Award, which Peyton referenced, that's for the most hype person at the camp all week long that everybody there votes on. There's a guy and a girl, and that's always a special coveted award, and it's something that now you just gave me such a great idea to bring that to the Swim Strong Championship meet, man. So another great idea I'll be taking note of. But
yeah, shout out to Porter though for sure. I think he's won and he will win every Monkey Bucket Award. You guys are gonna have to take him off because he's just gonna keep winning.
Now he's a coach. Now he's a coach with
I saw
Excel,
that.
so he'll be, he can come up as a coach, but it'll have to be an athlete to take his spot, to take the torch. So why not you?
Yeah, I gotta tell him I want to see him at the Swim Strong Dryland meet. Even if he's coaching, he better swim the 2 fly with me again.
Yes, I'll tell him to watch this, and then he can know start getting prepped for the 2 fly. I don't know if he'll agree to it this time around, but we'll see.
I'll get him to say yes.
Tell me, Peyton. So through the experiences that you've had in your swim career, from when you were really young and enjoying it to a time where you felt like you got stagnant and you weren't improving and kind of fell out of love with the sport, then came back to, where you were starting to see progress again, but then really now like fully starting to enjoy it regardless of progress, making a juniors cut, reaching more goals that you had set, getting to the elite camp, having those experiences, growing your network with swimmers across the country, like going through the recruiting process now, like so many different things that you have been through and are going through, that if you take a moment to pause, think about it, and reflect on everything that you've done and are doing, what would be a piece of advice you would give to your younger self, or someone else maybe who's gone through similar experiences, but specifically speaking just to you? What would you tell little Peyton that you wish you would have known maybe just a few years ago that you didn't, and you're like, dang, if I would have just known this, that would have saved me a lot of stress?
Honestly, if I had to tell myself one thing, it would probably be, and I don't know if it'd be little Peyton, but probably like when I was 14, 15, when I was starting to get down in that low, probably just to remind myself to have fun and, why you're in this sport. I remember back when I was little, like, it was winning, but like we had so much fun at meets. Like everyone remembers those meets when you were little, when you'd be super nervous, but then you'd go back to the tent with your friends and you'd screw around, maybe miss an event or two. Like those meets were just so much fun. But, when that fun kind of left, it was because I was getting so caught up and not seeing progress. So definitely telling myself like, hey man, like, still have fun at these meets. Most people, they're only going to swim until high school or if they get lucky, after college, and if they get really lucky after that, so make those memories count, because it's going to end like that. You're going to be done with your career like that. So definitely just have the most fun as you can.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like that's like that never gets old. Like enjoying moments, enjoying people, and making memories. When you finish, you've probably heard this before, and I'm sure a lot of people listening have heard this before. When you finish your career, you're not going to remember probably a single time that you went. And you might even one day forget you won't forget the moment of making a cut because of the people you experience it with, but you'll probably forget the cuts you made, the highest meets you swam at, like the different like specifics. Like even Olympians, I hear them like, I don't actually know what my best time was in this. I'm like, well, how do you not know that? And like, it's like, well, because that's not where the focus was. The focus was on the day-to-day, the process of who I was becoming, my character, the people, the relationships, the moments, the memories. And it's not cliche or corny to like say that. Like if people really focus on that and realize what's actually important. And I know you have a much deeper meaning and purpose to your life too, outside of swimming. And if people actually sit and realize that in the process of all this daily grind that we go through and this culture that we live in that tells you winning is everything and winning gives you value and losing makes you less valuable, and it's like, it's just not true. So everybody realizes that, even the best in the world, once their career comes to an end, that the only things that actually mattered are some of the moments, memories, and relationships like you just mentioned.
Yeah, the way I kind of think about it too is like, all the memories you get in school, like in high school or college, none of them are in the classroom. all of them are, like when you're getting in a little bit of trouble, or like when you're screwing around with your buddies, having fun.
Let me cut in just for a second and say, like, you're talking a bit about getting in trouble and screwing around, but what he really means is just enjoying yourself and having fun, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You've never done anything wrong in your life. No, I'm just kidding. But
Nope.
but it is true. Like enjoying it, enjoying time, enjoying being with your friends, and just being goofy, making memories. Like that's what it's about, man. It really is. And then if you're focused and doing the right things along the way, you may get opportunities and doors that open up that you had no idea could have existed. And you're going to continue, Peyton, to get doors like that as you keep doing the things that you're doing and enjoying the sport. So I can't wait to keep watching your journey and being a part of it. Even living in Indiana now, still getting to see and hear everything that's going on, man. We'll always be your biggest fans at Swim Strong, and we're always here for you. But thank you so much for taking the time to be on here, sharing your experiences. I know it'll inspire and impact people. Much love, brother.
Man, thank you, Coach. It's all love here. I appreciate being on the podcast again.
Yes, sir. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch a new episode each Monday. You can also check us out on social media at SwimStrong Dryland. If you would like to join the SwimStrong family, visit our website at swimstrongdryland.com.